All right, so move on to the next segment. Who should be the next contender for Islam Makhachev's lightweight title in the UFC? As I get tongue tied, think about the main event that's going to transpire tomorrow to Saturday night at UFC 295. But nonetheless, Islam Makhachev successfully retained his lightweight championship against Alexander Volkanovski, the reigning defending featherweight champion in the UFC. He successfully did that with a first-round knockout at UFC 294 in the main event of UFC 294. With several UFC main events already scheduled to take place in the beginning part of 2024, the first 3 months of the calendar year 2024, Dana White has already announced several big fights that will take place, big-time main events that will take place, all championship fights that will take place in the beginning part of 2024. However, Dana White still hasn't had an announcement for what's next for the lightweight champion Islam Makhachev when he returns to the octagon. And I'm expecting him to be back in the UFC probably in the beginning part of 2024. I expect him to be back by May or June in 2024. So I expect him to be there in the first half of the UFC. But he did not announce that he has the lightweight champion has an upcoming fight when all these respective fighters are getting their championship calls. They're getting their shine in the main events of UFC pay-per-views coming. So I do believe that the right man to be in line next for Islam Makhachev's lightweight championship is Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is the only answer to be, and he's the only answer to be next in line for a lightweight championship fight against Islam Makhachev. He's the #1 lightweight fighter in the UFC today in the lightweight rankings. If he never got hurt in sparring, Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev and the rematch would have taken place in the UFC main event of UFC 294 for the lightweight championship. So what's preventing us from getting this rematch between Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev? Arguably two of the best lightweight fighters that we have seen since Khabib's retirement back in 2020 in the UFC. Are we going to forget about his impressive first-round knockout victory that he got against Ben Darish during the summer of this calendar year 2023? Are we really going to forget about that? Nobody's more deserving of a lightweight championship opportunity than Charles Oliveira. We should be getting a Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev next for the lightweight championship. Not Justin Gaethje, not anybody else that's a contender in the lightweight rankings over Charles Oliveira, because if he never got hurt in sparring, that's the main event that we would have saw at UFC 294. So what's really preventing us from getting this rematch very soon in the UFC? But that is my thoughts on who should be next in line for Islam Makhachev's lightweight championship in the UFC.